Hi, welcome to Schulte Sweeties YouTube channel. My name is Stephanie and I'm a mom of 3 girls ages 12, 8, and 6. We are in our 7th year of homeschooling now. So you probably clicked on this and I'm sorry, it was a little clickbait, but it's actually true. But my oldest is in 7th grade currently. So she is going into 8th grade and we have just kind of been open with her, and I have told her, I would love to continue homeschooling her through high school, but ultimately she has a say in that. My husband and I were both public school. So we both went through public school. We know the good and the bad from years ago. Of course, that's been over 20 years ago. Public school has changed a lot. We have kind of been open and said, if public school is what would be best for you, then we will let you do that. Most likely a private Christian school is not really in our cards because of expense, and there's not really that many options around here currently either. And I think what she has talked to me about is what she brought up this week. Well, this week was not the first time we've talked about whether or not she would go to public school or not. So months ago, we had the conversation that if she wanted to continue homeschooling, that'd be fine. I'm a little nervous about high school, but I also know that there's plenty of resources out there. We can also dual enroll eventually and things like that. So it's really not as making me nervous as much as I thought it would. But we've talked about, if she did go to high school, she would need to start, if she wanted to go to public school, she would need to start in 9th grade. And if it didn't work out, she could always come home and do homeschooling and finish out her high school. But we would need to have her start so that she would get all her credits and not just any credits from homeschool from 9th grade on. Likely wouldn't travel into high school because a lot of times high schools don't take credit from homeschool. So we talked about that. My husband has said, well, if you're going to go, it might be worth it to go into middle school and kind of prepare for high school if you were going to do that. So in the past, she has been like, no, I think she had gone to play practice at a local high school, and she was like, oh, that made me nervous. No, I don't really like that. That's not my idea of fun. So then we're not going to talk about high school anymore. Well, then this week, I think somehow it got started talking about prom and dances, and she realized that. And then there's a sports camp that she might not get to participate in this summer. She's not really huge into sports. She's more into theater and art, but I know she's interested in some sports too. And so she was like, but I feel like I'm missing out on sports and prom and things like that, which I told her there are homeschool dances nearby that if her and her friends wanted to go, we could go to the bigger cities and go to those dances or create our own. So that wasn't really a big concern of mine, but so she started talking, and we talked, and she asked me about what the days are like. And I said, well, I don't really know what this particular high school near us is like in their schedule, if they have a block scheduling where you would do a couple hours of classes each day, 4 classes, or if they do 7 or 8 classes a day, or in my high school, we did both. We had that during the week. So I said, I can't really tell you, but you would, start out and you go to all your classes, and then you might have something after school. You would have homework in the evenings. And so she was like, okay. But we talked about it a little more, and really she won't talk about it unless I ask her about it. And so I try to let her have her space, let her think about it. But she says she actually doesn't think about it unless I talk to her about it. Well, I said, what do you think you're missing out on? She told me what she thought she was missing out on public school. And I told her, ultimately, any choice that we make, we're going to be missing out on something. If we homeschool, we're going to miss out on prom, a traditional prom, or those high school sports teams and stuff like that. But if we are public schooled, I said, what would you miss out on with like by not homeschooling. And so she said she would miss like her homeschool friends. She would miss field trips. And I told her, like, we go to different museums or we go to like a homeschool showing of a play, and she would miss those with her little sisters, because at this point we're still going to homeschool the sisters. And I said, you would miss that time with your sisters as well. So she like understood that. So what I did this week, I emailed the high school and I just said, I wrote actually to the principal and the vice principal, and I said, we have actually some friends down the road that are homeschooled that have actually participated in some of the high school sports, and they attend at least one class at the high school. And they also have to keep track of their grades to make sure, like, for the overall sports umbrella of the state, like, so they can be eligible and stuff. So they have to turn in grades and eligibility. I remember that term from high school. So they are participating in that, but they still homeschool. And so I wrote to the same, because we would attend the same school if that was where we went. And I asked, what would the possibilities be if she wanted to continue homeschooling, but wanted to participate possibly in like theater classes, art classes, music classes, and maybe like a theater, like after school if they wanted to be in a play or something. And so the vice principal did write me back and said, we're still a couple of years out before she gets to high school. She has one more year of middle school. And so at this point, she could enroll in any of those like art and music classes, it looks like. And then if she wanted to do any like theater program, like, after school program where they're doing a theater production, then she would need to be at least enrolled, I think it sounds like, in any of those classes such as art or something like that. So it sounds like that could be a possibility where she is partly going to public school for those extra things that I think she could really benefit from, and then still homeschooling and still get to be with her sisters and still get to do other things with us. So that could possibly be, we only live about 10 minutes away from the high school, so it's not really a huge deal if I had to travel there and get her. It would break up our day a little bit, but so that wouldn't be too big of a deal, and she'll be driving in a few years too. I hate thinking about that. But I did ask her, I was like, are you considering this? Like, are you considering going into 8th grade into public school? And she was like, no. And I'm like, that's good, because we do have a trip that she would have to, like, we would have to book at home. We would really be rushed to get home for her to actually start if she wanted to go to public school. Now, and I understand that this is not the viewpoint of a lot of families. Like, if you are in that family that you only have the choice and only want to homeschool, and that you're not giving your kids options for high school to go to other schools or have other educational choices, that I understand that is totally fine. I respect you if you respect me, but some families are different, and we have that openness. Right now, our family is enrolled in a public virtual school where we basically do normal homeschool things, but I turn in logs. We have a little bit of accountability. They do testing, state testing every year, and we're able to use funding to go toward educational items. And we have a homeroom teacher that encourages us, and I can bounce ideas off of. So that is our educational choice. As of this point, we don't just traditionally homeschool without, for our state, we are involved in that public virtual school. At this point, the public virtual school is only till 8th grade. So we will continue her in it next year as of right now. Things could change through the summer, who knows? But we will continue her through that. Maybe they might add high school, so maybe that would be when we would have to make a choice too. If she wanted to do the public school, the local public school, we would not be able to be in our public virtual school because they couldn't be dual enrolled in both of those. So all sorts of choices and things kind of being crazy. But I am encouraged that we do have a school near us that works with homeschool kids and be possibly willing to let us. She said, I do need to wait and see. She said, just with caution, because things could change in the year, like rules and all sorts of things. So I can just check back in a year. But I was encouraged because I know not every school district has that availability where you can participate in school and also at home. So I'm really thankful that we have that nearby. So Let me know if you've faced these difficult decisions with your kids and what you have thought and your feelings toward high school and above. It's nerve-wracking, like even like with the school, like what all we have to do with curriculum and everything and credits, but I think I'm not too scared about it though. So I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you have a great day.